Sending data, streaming. Okay, will that code work directly? Question mark. Where would I put that in? Do I have to do that in a IDE, or would I use more like a Jupyter notebook? What? No! Please write a summary of everything that we have discussed so far. Could you give a summary of what I said and you said and I said and you said? But like summarized? Okay, but can you be more specific than that? Like, uh, give examples of the things that I said, like the basics and like what I actually know about, so that like if I could use this in another conversation, the uh, algorithm would be able to pick up on the details enough to be able to replicate what we have done here so far. Okay, just a bit more detail, like try to utilize almost as much as you can put in one response as you can. I have a previous conversation that I want you to try to understand via a summary provided by the language model. In my next prompt, I will provide you that summary. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do? Okay, yes, I don't have that example code, but that example code wasn't going to run. It was just a example that apparently needs like a larger program to be a part of. Could we try building something like that from scratch and that be kind of the way, like, because I'm kind of more hands-on, you know? Let's begin by defining a board game and creating some essential functions. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is kind of what I need and like how I need to learn. Like you provided me a bunch of stuff and you said that we could um define a bunch of functions. Just kind of like go over exactly what you mean by that, and because I understand what a function is. So you're just creating basically a snippet of code that kind of runs whenever we call it, right? If I'm understanding that correctly. Okay, it's kind of hard to scroll back and forth. Can you maybe like create a snippet of code, like the whole snippet, and then let's look at like each individual uh, function in another snippet, and then like you can tell me how the snippet kind of comes together, because I get the basics of Python, but like it's almost like I need to like practice reading it and understanding how the pieces kind of come together. Like normally, like it's a lot of stupid little things I'll forget, like the semicolon or the colon rather at the end of or like whatever it is that goes at the end of a line, or like the tabbing and stuff like that. Oh, you know, I should make this so that like people can see it. So I'm gonna get my IDE open. Okay, so let's actually take another step back. We'll come back to this again, sorry. Um, I'm going to actually open up my IDE right now and go ahead and get started working on this, but I actually might even just need some like make sure and like over guidance on knowing that I'm doing everything right and setting it up properly. Um, I did notice, so I'm using Windows, and I have PyCharm. It's obviously a higher version than you are aware of, but that's okay. I wish I knew what you're most familiar with, but that's gonna be a pain in the ass to like downgrade. But so I'm not gonna do that right now. But maybe another time. Anyways, um, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new project and a new file for this project. I'm gonna create it called Chat GPT Learning. Ah, shit, I thought I was typing this all. Okay. Anyways, okay, so here's what I need. I made a file called, or located at e:/chat GPT learning. Fuck. Okay, god damn it. I made a file at e:/chat GPT learning. All one word. And I'm going to start a project there called Okay, it actually doesn't look like I create a project called anything. It's just in a file or in a folder. I just choose a location. Okay. New window. Okay, now when I launched it, it says something about IDE has detected Microsoft Defender with real-time protection enabled. No. Okay, so when I first launched the program in the new, or not the program, the project, something about Windows Defender, automatic, something or another came up and it disappeared before I could say anything. It was warning me about maybe like degraded performance because some kind of security setting was on. Do you know anything about that? Ooh. Windows security. Oh shoot, yeah, this is totally it, but I don't know where the file was. Oops, no. Yep, that looks like it was here, but I didn't see what the file was. Okay, I changed my mind about what the program I want to write. This one will actually be useful. I want to create a program that allows me to use my voice to type utilizing OpenAI's Whisper API, where you give it information about the new GPT-4 and Whisper APIs. Ooh, yeah, see, I thought they would probably fine tune your model to know about specific things regarding their own products, but I guess OpenAI has not done that. I will certainly look for API information. Give me just a moment. Okay, so also with that app, is it possible for the to make it so it's like not always on, but that when I have it toggled on, it will always be listening for me to say something, but when I'm not talking, it just stays idle. Okay, so I'm getting that like there's all these different functions and whatnot, and I'm getting that like it seems like there's going to be a lot of code involved, but it doesn't seem like programs are just like one program of a giant thing of code. So like how do like these all these different files come into play? Like I guess that's kind of something that I've always kind of struggled with programming and like understanding. Okay, so I'm gonna stop you, and by stop you I mean I just haven't read anything past this point. But anyways, what I was gonna say is that you said something about classes. Now, what is a class, and how is it different from a function? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you again, but you said something about object-oriented programming. Yes, I remember hearing about this. This is something that they say is a big deal, and like I understand that it's a big deal. I just don't fully have a grasp of what it is, which I know you're trying to explain right now, but it's kind of in a block of text kind of way that I'm having a hard time getting my mind around. I wish there was another format like video in which I could be explained, but that's okay. Objects are instances of classes that they provide real world entities. Holy shit. I didn't say ship. Ship. Okay. Objects are instances of classes, and classes are blueprints for creating objects. Okay, that sounds like that makes sense, but I can't quite picture it. Is there like a visual that you could provide? Which I know you can't yet. I know, but you don't know probably that they're going to introduce that to you at some point. But not yet. Not yet. Yes, yes, please. That really helped actually. If you could just go ahead and teach like that all the time, that'd be great. Okay, so let me reiterate back to you and see if I have an understanding. So, the class is the blueprint. And the object is the house. The class kind of sets all the parameters for the object, but it isn't the object itself. But an instance of that class is an object. And that object is like an actual house. And the actual house, or in this case, an object, has specific things about it. Let's say, like, an address and the colors of the house is painted and things along those lines. Okay, so if I'm understanding that correctly, now how do I build this into, like, I understand like what these two things are, but how does that get into the greater, like, idea of object oriented programming? How does that now combine into the greater thing? You have a good understanding of classes and objects. Now let's see how the concept fits into the bigger picture of object oriented programming. Okay, you threw some more terms in here, the attributes, methods and functions, and the unit class. Can you put those in the framework of the blueprints again? Shit, man, I'm trying to like wrap my head around stuff while trying to read it out loud. Or while just reading it. Okay. Class. Think of a class as a blueprint for a house. The blueprint defines the design, layout, and structure of the house. Shit. It's just too late for me right now to do this shit. Like it's just like hitting like a freaking like wall in my head. Like I know that like I can understand that, like because I understood the two things, but like trying to grip like memorize and juggle all of them and like store or like process and store. The process and store is just not working. It's just like process up. No storage. Like my brain is just fighting back against trying to actually like process this stuff right now. Not that it won't at other times, but it feels like the inertia is weighing me down, if that makes sense. Like if this was like 10 a.m., that'd be one thing. All right, yeah, I'm like falling asleep. I will pick up. In fact, I'm just gonna leave everything right where it is on my desktop and come back to this. Although I'll probably come back to this and be like, "Oh, it's all this stuff on my desk," and just like close out all the windows. But that's all right. Maybe it'll get me to remember. Okay, everybody. Uh, I'll catch you all later. I'm gonna get some sleep and then